Coming up this week on the Nintendo Directors Podcast, we discuss what the Time magazine has to say about Nintendo's hot new console, the potential for a, quote, true Okami sequel, give impressions of Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, and several new Switch games, and a whole lot more.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And I'm Brad.
We're two middle school band directors.
And you're listening to
Nintendo Directors. Hello, greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to Nintendo Directors Podcast, episode 3010. Can you believe we've made it to our 10th episode of the 3000s? So we are on episode 3010. It is currently, the date is December 1st, 2017, and we are recording this on a Friday
Late,
when
Mark.
it was supposed to be out on a Thursday. Whoops. But I've been working a second job, and I actually have shingles, and life is crazy. It's life.
Happens.
So, anyways, this will be out to you by tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. So, we're excited to get this episode going. I'm Mark Lego, and I'm here with my co-host, Brad Byer.
I see power moons in my sleep.
Oh, yes. Don't we all right now? Korok seeds have just melted into power moons in our dreams.
That's right.
It's a beautiful time to be alive.
Except when they show up at the same time, and then
Yeah.
or when
Which one do you
or when
get?
in the dream when the Korok gives you a power moon, or
Oh, yeah.
that would be
Man.
the shit.
All right. I'm excited to go to bed tonight now.
Sweet.
All right. All right. Anyways, so this is an every other week podcast, and the next episode will be posted on a Thursday at 9 a.m., potentially earlier. Sometimes we're ahead of schedule. And then we've got some pretty cool things in store for today's episode. We got some cool things in store for upcoming episodes that we will talk about more later. But we've got a lot of stuff to hit on in the news, so why don't we just cut straight to it. So, Brad, why don't you take it away?
I will take it away. This news is the news this week is brought to you by Mario's Magical Mushrooms, because how else could you get a game where a glorified turtle can successfully steal away a princess 47 times or more? All right, folks, jumping right in. We have, like I said, we did lots of news. The first story on the list is a mainstream media attention from Time magazine. This was just an issue that came out a week or so ago, and the Time is known for one of the many lists and their rankings of things. Oh, this isn't specifically a ranking. I think it's the 25 best inventions of 2017. And so this is, I believe, a thing they do every year, and it's pretty prestigious list, some pretty fancy stuff on there, and of course one of the 25 best inventions of 2017 according to Time magazine
was Doki Doki Panic. No, sorry.
Oh,
it was something
else. That too. Maybe something. Excuse me. Maybe something that Doki Doki Panic will eventually be on. Yeah.
I hope. Fingers crossed.
It's the Switch.
It's the Switch.
It's the Switch.
The Switch. Yeah.
Yes. So this is pretty
That's
cool.
Fantastic.
Like I said, mainstream media attention. You can't beat it. In terms, when something like the Switch or Nintendo, anything really gets on the Today Show or in Time magazine or the USA Today or whatever it is. That's saying that it's starting to make a mark in culture and in just the public, among the public at large. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that, speaking of like mainstream attention, all of the like giant consoles of the past, you can go on YouTube and find like excited kids opening their boxes on Christmas, and getting that console. And I think we're going to see plenty of Switch YouTube videos coming up soon. Once this Christmas season is done, kids opening up, it's the Nintendo Switch, and it's going to be great. So,
but yeah, just a cool little nugget there. I didn't expect that, but it makes sense. They unfortunately the write up about it was kind of lame. It was just kind of like this quote from, Reggie, of course, is everybody's favorite. Everyone likes Reggie, but it was just one of his generic well, yes, people can, when games if a person likes a game, the worst part is that you have to shut it off. Well, with Nintendo Switch, you don't have to shut it off.
That's a good marketing play. I like it.
So it is what it is. But it was cool to see that happen. And yeah, so that's that.
Cool.
So the next story has to do with one of the higher up guys over at Platinum Games, maker of many a great action game and lots of relatively lame licensed titles too. But that's how they pay for the big high action games.
Right. Right.
So we have.
We're hearing a call in the background. Our FaceTime disconnected. We're also talking on phone.
Oh,
but
gotcha.
So we're getting some FaceTime reestablished there. So,
all right.
Anyways,
there we go.
There we go. Carry on.
Because the closet internet is not functioning.
No, it's not. Yeah, for the listeners at home, I lock myself in a closet to do this so that I don't wake up my kids. But anyway, all right,
that's right.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so this director, it's Hideki Kamiya, excuse me, Hideki Kamiya. He was speaking and he was doing an interview, and he basically was just saying how much he would love to do a true Okami sequel.
Yes, please.
Right. Now, have you...
Yes, please.
And of course, hopefully, most of you are familiar with the game Okami. It came out, 2006 or 7, somewhere in there.
Wasn't it originally on the... Was it originally on the PlayStation 2 and then ported to the Wii?
I think so.
Okay. I know it's...
Or was that PlayStation 3 era? Was that PlayStation 3?
Might have been 3.
No. I don't remember.
I don't know. I just know that when it came to the Wii, it was like, this is where it belonged.
Right.
You know?
It was a gorgeous game. The art style was
man.
incredible.
It holds up.
Yeah.
It holds up. It's like Wind Waker. Like, you go back and play it. It's like, this is still beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because it definitely came out the same year as the Wii. I remember that because I remember being kind of mad that like IGN gave it the Game of the Year award over Twilight Princess, and I was I was a little upset about that. But either way, that doesn't. I guess that doesn't necessarily mean that it came out that year. It could have been but probably it was. Anyway, so there was that, and but yeah, I mean, I did get to play it some. I didn't get to play the whole thing. It's a very long game actually. But it was again gorgeous game. A little chatty, a little talkative.
Yeah. Yep.
But for the most part, just a really, it in fact, pays a lot of homage to Zelda itself, and a lot of the gameplay styles and puzzle solving and whatnot. So that could be cool. And this director went on to also say that he would also love to do either a remake or something new with Beautiful Joe. Did you ever play any Beautiful Joe game?
I didn't, but I know what it is, and I know that I like the aesthetic of it a lot. And wasn't didn't Beautiful Joe, or like, wasn't he in The Wonderful 101 as one of the, was he?
I never played that game, but he would fit perfectly in that universe, I'm sure.
I think he was one of the characters. I might be wrong.
Okay.
Aesthetically, it's similar, but
very similar, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be okay with that. I would play it if it came to the Switch. Like, that'd be great. A remake, that'd be really cool.
I'd play lots of things that come to the Switch.
I would.
The Switch is the place for everything.
It is. It's fantastic.
Especially, just it's a beautiful thing. All right, go. Why don't you go on to the next story there?
Yeah. So this next one, this one is pretty amazing. The Switch was the hottest product on Black Friday, and it wasn't even on sale. And that's I think that speaks to everything we've kind of been hinting on earlier with the Switch Times, or the Switch being on the Times list of the 25 best inventions of 2017. It's like the gaming console right now, and so many people were just crapping on it when it was announced. There were people like, this isn't gonna, it's just it's another Wii U, and
Nintendo's
it's like
going down.
Right,
this is their last breath, gasping
right.
breath.
I know, if this is their last gasp, like, man, they are tanking up with a lot of air. So it's I mean, that's amazing. It was not on sale, and it was the hottest product.
And
for Black Friday.
And there were really good deals on the PS4 and Xbox
Yep.
I was actually very close to picking up an Xbox One myself, but didn't end up doing it. But because I realized I would only play like 4 games that I know on it
Sure.
that I couldn't get on PS4 already. Because that's another story though.
Right.
But yeah, maybe someday when it's like $40 and I can just.
Yeah.
I really just want to go back and play all the Halo games again. That's all I want to do.
I've only played Halo. What did I play? Was it Halo 2 or Halo 3 online multiplayer for one really fun evening, and that's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Never played any of the campaigns?
I haven't. I know. I know.
Welcome to Xbox Directors. No.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a Nintendo guy. I play Nintendo stuff. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But I have played a few of the campaigns and I enjoyed them. So, but yeah, I mean the fact that Black Friday went super successful for Nintendo is awesome. You know, obviously this is kind of what we've been waiting for, right? Because the Switch has been selling gangbusters, and it released in March. You know, so this is the first holiday season where it's really gotten a chance to show its stuff.
I know. If only there were games.
Right.
Oh, that's right. There's just so many.
All
right
the
now.
games.
So,
All the games. We're going to talk about several of them later.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. So next, we've got an official date for Yooka-Laylee. It's coming to the Switch on December 14th. And did I see there's a launch trailer out for it now, or like that it's coming out?
I don't know about a launch trailer. I know they released some footage of some of the devs playing.
That's what I saw. Okay. Yep. I saw an article linking to that. So yeah. So I mean,
I was so excited for this game.
Yeah,
I kind of still am.
Yeah, a long time ago, in a galaxy far away, when it was announced, like I was all on board, and I hadn't played Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh really?
But no, yeah, but I know it's like it's held in a special place of reverence for many gamers of our age. So I was like, yeah, this looks pretty cool. I'll give it a try. And I'll tell you what, if it launches at $20, and it won't, but if it does, then I'll get it. But otherwise, I'll wait till it's $20, and then I'll get it. But I know there are some diehards that are like really excited for this. So,
well, hey, I gotta be honest. You know, I backed it when it first
really
revealed. Yeah, oh yeah, I've been very excited about this for a long time. And so I originally asked for mine to be on the Wii U, and they of course decided to. They're like, well, we're not doing that anymore. We're going to port it to the Switch, so you can either have it on Steam or you can, wait for it on Switch. And little we know it was going to be like another 6 months or whatever it was until I actually got it. But so yeah, I've been kind of patiently waiting and excited to play. I did play what do they call it? The toy box. Sort of like there was a demo type thing of like one basic not finished level. It showed off some of the mechanics and collecting things, which was pretty neat. But yeah, I'm assuming it'll just download on my Switch one day, when it's available, and so I'll definitely be able to play it. I'm just really afraid that now that I've played Mario-Odyssey a lot, and that is just incredible, that my expectations are going to be so unreasonable for a game that was made in a year and a half and is based on a lot of the mechanics that were popular in the 90s.
Right. That is a big concern for me. So
but we'll see.
Yeah,
I'll definitely play it. But I'm just, from what I hear, it's kind of it's good. It's very solid. It's what we expected a lot. But doesn't necessarily have the magic of a Mario.
Yeah, and it's coming out at a really flooded time for the market of like really good games having come to the Switch and coming to the Switch soon.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, that's some stiff competition there, Yuka. So,
but hey, they've been promising it for so long. Like I think they're just ready to get it out the door.
Yeah. So I'll get it when it goes on sale, unless it launches at $20. I mean, how much did you back it for? More than 20, I'm sure.
Yeah. Whenever I decide to back a video game, which honestly is not very much, but when I do, I make sure. Well, in most cases, I make sure that I get enough to get the soundtrack as well. So I got basically it's like right above the base tier of buy the game, get the soundtrack. So I think I paid maybe like $50 or something for it.
Okay.
To get all those things. So
So, would you say that it's going to or not going to launch at $20?
I think it is a confirmed possibility that it might
Be at $49.
That's right.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a $39.99 price point.
Yeah,
So,
that's probably
we'll see.
probably about right. I don't even know what it retails for at the moment. I think it might have been a full price game, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
I could
Wow.
maybe they did 50. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's out there. We could look it up.
Yeah.
But let's move on.
But there's
So-
definitely nothing that we could do to figure that out right now.
So- Yep. All right. So next is that Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is out, and and this just in, it has already made over $10 million, which
Whew.
that's pretty amazing because that just came. Did it come out? Was it earlier this week or last week?
22nd.
Okay. Yeah. So it's been out for what?
A little over a week,
almost
yeah.
10 days. Yeah,
Yeah.
9 days, and $10 million. Nintendo printing more money. Everybody is the headline of this story. So.
Yeah. And I've played it, and it's good. It's somewhat what I expected, although to be fair, I haven't put as much time into it as I initially thought, because what happened was what happens with every mobile game that I ever buy, because I get excited about it, I download it, I play it once or twice, and then I literally just forget about it. I forget that it's on my phone.
Right.
And because I'm, when I think of gaming, I think, oh, I'll go grab my Switch or my 3DS or my
Right.
PS4 or whatever. I don't think of, and again, maybe this is just me, and maybe I'm kind of in the mains, I'm not the hip youngsters these days where everything's on my phone. But I don't think of my phone as a gaming device.
I think of it as a last resort.
Right.
Like, it works in a pinch. If I was like, I want to play a game right now, I guess I'll use like a screen to control, nothing like a virtual joystick. Oh, yeah,
Right,
that's my biggest problem is no tactile buttons. Like,
yeah, and
so.
again, the game itself is pretty nice. Pretty nice. It's it's got many of the mechanics that an actual Animal Crossing game has. There's the fishing and the bug catching, and you're going to kind of a store and you're trying to buy furniture and you're getting all these things. There's plenty of the other animals around. They've got lots of dialogue, things for you to do for them. So it's in many ways it's very fully featured, but it just lacks the continuity, I think, is what I'm missing right now.
Okay.
Because, sure. and maybe it was just because, like, when you're in a traditional Animal Crossing game, you're in one giant town, and only do you ever leave that town if you have to go to like a specialized store or something. At least I'm thinking from my experience from New Leaf on the 3DS. But it's in this game you're constantly just tapping, and you go from the campsite, you go to this store, and then you go to this marketplace, and then you go to a place where you do fishing, and you go to a place where you do bug catching. It's like all very segmented, which
Sure.
again, not a bad thing, but it's I'm not. And maybe I just haven't gotten far enough in the game yet, but I'm not like investing in a museum where I'm catching all the bugs and getting fossils and things. And I'm not, you're not the mayor of a town, so you're not making decisions like that like you were in New. Again, this is by design. I'm sure it's sort of a pared down experience to get you to buy eventually the one they're going to announce next year probably,
Right.
Or even at the end of this year, who knows? But yeah, it's good. I need to play more, but again, I keep forgetting about it, honestly.
Yeah. Yep. I've played about maybe a half an hour of it, and that was with my daughter, my oldest daughter May, and she really likes it. So we're gonna play it again tomorrow. She liked collecting the fruit, and
All right.
yeah, and she likes making the decisions. So like, what do you want to say? Do you want to say it, basically, do you want to be excited or like really excited for how you respond? Like there's no like, yes or no. Usually it's just a lot of what's your approach to this affirmative answer?
Can I just say though, the whole thing, you mentioned the fruit, man, the fruit way back in the day on the GameCube version of Animal Crossing, the fruit was such a big deal, and it was so cool because it was like in this game, you just go to a tree. Oh, there's the coconut. Oh, there's the cherry. Oh, there's the thing. And they're like all right there. In the original game, if you wanted to get, like, every town had one fruit that it was native to that area. And so, like, I think in my GameCube town, I had cherries. But my cousin, who had the game, and he lived, a couple hours away from me or whatever, but my cousin had, I think, peaches in his town. Well, you could sell cherries for like 100 bells, but you could sell foreign fruit or fruit, different fruit that non-native for like 500 bells a piece. And so obviously you wanted to get that. But in order to do that on the GameCube, you had to load up your save like onto your memory card or something, drive down to my cousin's house, put it in his GameCube, or what was it the other way around? Maybe he had to bring it to me. I don't know. There was definitely an exchange of memory cards along there. Then you had to like go into their town, chop down all their trees. I mean, steal their fruit.
This just does not sound like fun. In hindsight,
not necessarily fun, but it felt rewarding when you finally got it back to your town, planted a tree, and then the tree died, and so you had to do it all over again. And then
no. Oh no!
Because you could get trees that didn't sprout. Sometimes you would just plant it and then it would just die, and so you had to do it again.
You bring up the rewarding thing about that. Like, it reminds me of on the GameCube they had Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, which as a Final Fantasy fan, like I got that immediately and played it, and it didn't feel quite like a Final Fantasy game, and it also felt like unreasonably difficult. Like I've never struggled with Final Fantasy games, and in that it got to the point where I was like, this is just like,
that was the co-op game, right?
Yes.
Or it was supposed to be.
You needed to have people with Game Boy Advances all playing on one console to make it to really make it playable, which like back to your thing about it being rewarding to have to drive 2 hours to put a memory card in someone else's GameCube. Like the effort of it would have been rewarding,
Right.
and like the effort of like getting enough people together with Game Boy Advances to make Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles playable to the end would have been rewarding. But in today's like immediacy culture of now, like it seems so awful. It just seems terrible.
Yeah.
So anyways, and the thing is, I didn't even know that about Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. I didn't really do much research on it. I played it and I was like, this is really hard. And I just stopped. And I found out from some of my students in my first year of teaching, like 3 years after I bought the game, they're like, oh yeah, we had like 5 people on Game Boy Advances playing that. And like, is that how you're supposed to do that? I was like, I had no friends with a Game Boy Advance, so I was just kind of SOL. I had no chance at it. So
I had the same problem for years with the Zelda Four Swords. I didn't play that game until years and years after it came out. And
it's nobody.
I had my Game Boy Advance, and a buddy of mine growing up, he had a Game Boy Advance, and I think we were able to rent the game once or something. We played for a couple hours, but then I never actually got to go back to it again until later. And it was that same friend who actually unfortunately lost interest in gaming, and he just happened to leave his Game Boy Advance at my house one time and just never asked for it back, like never cared. And so finally, I just went on eBay or something. This was probably, I don't know, 6 years ago or something, and I just grabbed a cheap copy of the game. And so then my roommate at the time, he and I played through the whole thing together. And
nice.
It was actually,
so you did have somebody.
I did finally get to some of it, but then by that point I had forgotten how terrible it was to play on the original Game Boy Advance with that screen where you couldn't see anything. And at least if you're in daylight, or even if you're in, it doesn't matter whether you're in daylight or night, you just can't see anything. And so you're going on there, and so we were trying to play through this, and so it's a unique concept where you go and, it's anytime somebody, like you're on the main screen there, but anytime somebody goes into a cave or a house or something, it goes on the Game Boy Advance screen. Cool idea, because then you could like steal something that other people couldn't see or something. Right. But man, I cringed every time. Oh crap! I gotta look at the screen again now. And you had to do it a lot, and there were puzzles that were associated with it. It was tough.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, we've gotten way off topic. But
we're talking about the news, like current stuff now. All right.
Right.
So.
Animal Crossing to Zelda. How about? Hey, everything comes around to Zelda, right? That's great.
Right. Yep. So the last news for today is
great.
One that
delicious.
Yes, I'm so excited about this because cereal is my favorite thing, and we're getting Super Mario cereal. So, I start every day with 2 bowls of cereal, and then sometimes I have a bowl of like dessert cereal before I go to bed. So I love cereal, and to have Mario cereal, I feel like back when my earliest memories of cereal, back when there was Pac-Man cereal.
Right.
And how exciting that was to eat that as a kid. And I know it's not going to be nearly as exciting, but I'm going to treat it like it will be. So
It'll probably
Super
cost
Mario
like
cereal.
$5 a box too, but
Right. That's okay. That's all right. So
That's all right.
I'm told it may or may not have hallucinogenic mushrooms in it.
Oh, right.
So I'm a little leery, but it's Mario cereal, so I'll get it.
Hey,
so.
I will eat it, yes. And there's also, the other feature about it, I don't know if you saw this, but it's actually an amiibo.
Yes.
I guess from what I hear, it's just a traditional Mario amiibo. Like, it doesn't do anything super special outside of what a normal amiibo would do in Mario Odyssey or something.
It should definitely just be a bowl of cereal. That whatever game you're playing, your character sits down
right?
and eats a bowl of cereal. Like, that's all it would need to be, and
Agreed.
I would be thrilled.
There you go.
So
there you go.
Yeah. Anyways, so I think that's all the news.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's a lot of news.
Yeah. Now, and there's a lot of what we've been playing. So why don't we get on to that? So
Let's
here we
do
go. Next up is what we've been playing. All right, what we've been playing. It's a lot of one game, but a number of other games. Why don't we save the lot of one game, which nobody's going to be able to guess, Mario. So it's so I went on a little bit. I like I said, I have a second job right now. We're trying to pay off a whole bunch of debt really quick. So, but with Black Friday and Thanksgiving weekend sales, I wound up getting a few games, and I bought Doom, which was not on sale, but we mentioned last episode that I wanted to get that, and I didn't have
You had trouble,
enough. Yeah. I forgot that I needed to get a micro SD. So I now have a 200 gig a micro SD, and I got Doom. And Doom is, it's the levels are kind of long, but it's Doom. It's like just. I love that it doesn't take you by the hand. It's just it throws you into the level, and you wake up, and it's just like there are like zombies all around me, and zombies freak me out more than almost anything. So zombies
Demons,
and giant robots.
aren't they?
Yeah. Yep.
Is that?
So.
Yeah,
Now,
from what okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, from what I understand about this game, I haven't played it myself. Honestly, not necessarily my cup of tea. But from what I understand about this game is it almost kind of encourages you or forces you to just like keep propelling yourself forward because you get like you can get health back or something if you keep winning.
Yep.
How's that work?
The more efficient you are in taking your enemies out, the more health pickups you're going to get from it is what I've been noticing. And it also, like, the first time I died, like, the hint that just comes up on the screen is don't, like, keep moving. If you stand still, you're going to die. It's like, because whenever I've played a first-person shooter, I love to find a place where I can put my back against a wall and, like, pick people off as they run by.
Right.
Cannot do that in Doom. So I've died a lot, but I've made it through a couple levels, and it's gripping like fun. Like so I'm excited to get going in multiplayer with that.
Just a very angry main character, right? So
yeah, everyone that you know is dead basically. So
sweet.
Yeah. So you really have nothing to lose. So you just keep running, and yeah, but the level design is really cool. So I playing Doom as a middle schooler with the lights off and like at night was one of the scariest things I've ever experienced playing video games. So it's kind of recapturing that for me. So it's cool. So so I've been playing some Doom, and then I've also been playing a bit of Rocket League. Ooh. And Rocket League on the Switch is fantastic. It's so good. It's so fun. Have you ever played Rocket League?
Yes. When it first came out on PlayStation Plus, I played it. Actually, I played it for several weeks. Just casually, you know, I played online some. Excuse me. Thankfully, it was new enough to that point where people weren't just like completely destroying everything,
right?
And people were still figuring out strategies and stuff. And so I actually occasionally had a chance even though I didn't have any friends that I was playing it with. I was just playing with randoms online. But yeah, I had a blast with that game. It was super satisfying anytime you get a cool goal and you just
Oh man, it feels good.
that explosion out of the goal and they just
Yep. It's
and
it's the best game. Like like video game. It's the most video game of video games. Like
right, just cars, just like
right. You can describe it to people so quick. When I've told like a couple people like that have a Switch, like you got to get Rocket League. They're like, "What's Rocket League?" And I'm like, "Where have you been?" But
right.
but then it's just like it's soccer with cars that have rockets attached to them. Like that's basically what it is.
Which, by the way, I think obviously this is the sequel to what was it?
Yeah, it was
Superpower Rocket something
yeah.
Battle Cars. I don't know. It's a long name,
Yeah.
but it's cool. But I have to imagine the initial concept for that was probably either somebody who was just completely just
like a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah, like or even
boy.
or a 7-year-old, just like
yeah,
like let's make the cars have the rockets and they can fly
and they can jump and they can hit soccer balls.
Yeah.
And they'll explode.
In fact, maybe someday there'll be a lawsuit from some kid who tries to get it back from his dad. Like, you stole this idea. I said this, Dad, and then you made
It's so fun, and it feels right at home on the Switch, so I've been enjoying that.
Does it run well?
It runs very well. I have not had any online connectivity issues, no lagging. It runs smooth, so
very cool.
Yeah, really enjoying that. I've probably sunk like 2 hours into that. Over Thanksgiving break, I had I had more time than I've had in a while to be able to actually play games. So I was like, I'm going to play all the games. So, so Rocket League and Doom, I probably got about 2 hours each on those two games, and then I've played a bit of Lumo, which is an isometric game where you're a wizard running through these old school video game type levels. That definitely does not take you by the hand. It just drops you in, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go this direction and see what's over here. So
was this a game that was on like one of those old directs that we
yes.
covered in the last little bit?
Yep. Yep.
I'll have to
And
look
I think
at that.
yeah, it's interesting, and it plays a lot like the game Solstice, which I think we'll do a retrospective review on at some point.
Okay.
Because I like that game a lot, but it looks a lot like it too. I will say it started out. You're this boy, and you walk into this like gaming area, like arcade, and then you get sucked into this game.
Okay.
And then you're in the game. But the graphics of that boy running around and going into the arcade, I was like, this looks like a really, really low budget knockoff of the first version of The Sims. I was like, this looks so bad. What did I just buy? And then you can tell once you get sucked into this arcade game, or you get sucked into a computer where the game is being played.
Is it 2D or is it like a weird 3D?
It's 2.5D, so everything is like on an angle to like make it look 3D. The old isometric way of doing that. And so, anyways, you can tell all the care was put into the actual being the wizard in this game. So it's fun. It's difficult. There's going to be parts where I'm going to have to go online to figure out what to do, I'm sure, because I just don't have the time to figure it out anymore. But it's cute. It looks great, and it plays well. So I don't know if I'll finish it, but I've sunk an hour or two into it, and I'll probably see if I can get a few more hours into it as well. Also, Cat Quest. I have played Cat Quest.
What
is
like this? I don't even. Maybe I don't even want to know.
It is. Well, I like cats, and I like RPGs, and it combines them.
This is you, man.
It's incredibly charming and very cute, and I got it because I could play it with. My excuse is I got it so I could play it with May, my 5-year-old, but. I got it because I wanted to get it. If you check it out, all of it takes place on an overworld map, and there are the names of the towns and everything on it. So the battles take place on the overworld map. The towns, you just walk up to them, and you can kind of go in the buildings, but it stays on the overworld map. There are caves to go into. There are big dragons to fight. But you're a cat, and you're on a quest, and you have a sword, and you get armor, and it's fun. So...
Nice.
Very charming. So
you must have been a big fan then of Mario 3D World on the Wii U.
I loved Mario 3D World. we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
But yeah.
That
So
cat
and then the
suit,
last
man.
the last game I played was The Bridge, which is an indie game that came out in I believe 2012. So it's like a 5-year-old game.
I own this, but I still haven't played it. I've owned it for years. It was one of those Steam sale things, or maybe a humble bundle or something. But
We all have a Steam library of undownloaded games. It's just like there's my log of money well spent. It's just there to reinforce regret for you.
Right.
But but yeah, but The Bridge. I got that because my wife and I like playing puzzle games, and we played maybe an hour or so one night, and we'll go back to it for sure. It's fun.
Tell me about the puzzles. I see the imagery. I like the imagery, but I don't know if I've ever actually seen real gameplay footage.
So what we've done so far, a lot of it is just like manipulating the screen by like turning the screen around and like figuring out how to get like a ball to drop a certain way, or like open up a new path for you to walk on, because you can't, as it gets steeper you can't walk up a hill, but it's so like you rotate it and then it levels that hill out, and it's all like MC Escher based. So like it's pretty cool. It's really a well thought out game. So we'll go back and play it. I don't know if we'll see it through to the end of the game, but that's the goal. So
does it get pretty hard pretty quick, do you think, or?
Yes. we stopped on like the 8th level. Each level it can be, if you know how to do it, it can be completed in probably 30 seconds. But some of them take a few minutes to kind of figure it out. But I think it was like the 8th or the 9th level. You're in this just like little room, and there's this ball that kills you when it touches you, and you need to make it to this door. And I don't know how to do it, so there will be some internet sleuthing, I believe. But
nice.
So, anyways,
did you ever play Captain Toad Treasure Tracker?
Yes.
I still haven't played that, but I want to. It sounds like that's a similar kind of thing. I definitely played the speaking of Mario 3, well, I guess that's where that came from, right?
Yep. Toad Treasure Tracker was a lot of fun, and my daughter May is actually pretty good at it. Like she can make her way through a number of the levels, like some of them that are really tough too. The only thing is like manipulating the camera on that got annoying at times, but for the most part it was cute, really good game. But and then lastly, I've still been playing that Super Mario.
Mario,
and
he's got a cereal. He must be famous.
Mario cereal. So yeah. Oh, I can't stand here.
Mario
Mario.
Mario cereal.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yep. Yeah, so I've been playing some Mario Galaxy. I am in New Donk City, which has been featured on a lot of trailers and hyped up, and still I think is a terrible name. But I really like it.
And the Metro Kingdom's not much better.
Yeah. It's just like Metro Kingdom or New Donk City. What do you want? Like, okay.
Sure.
Man, you guys put all of your creative juices into making the game. You just couldn't name anything. But it's 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 so good. It's so good. And I think I have like 130 power moons, and I know there's like 30,000 more to get. So
40.
But okay, 40,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
To get it right.
So it's great. And speaking of Toad Treasure Tracker, you get to run into Captain Toad throughout the game, which is cool. So
spoilers.
Small spoiler. Yeah. So it's such a good game. And the music, the soundtrack is so good. It's so good. So
yeah, and you'll appreciate it even more once you beat the game for a reason that I won't tell you. But
sure. Okay. All right.
But it's pretty cool.
I did do jump rope in it, which you can jump rope in the game. So.
Okay, so that moon is just the worst, actually.
I got it on my first try. You got
100 jumps on your first try?
I got a moon at 50.
You got a moon at 30.
30.
There's another moon.
There's another one at 100?
It's the worst.
Oh, man.
It's literally the moon that I spent the most time to get so far.
I think I got 54 on my first try, and I was like, sweet, I got a moon. Done. Oh, man, now I got to go back.
Yeah. And
okay.
Minor spoiler, like every room in the game, every challenge has two of something. There's two phases of it, or there's two moons in the area or whatever. But either way, I will say that was the one part of the game where I've been like genuinely frustrated. Like
Sure.
I probably spent like 2.5, 3 hours just in that stupid jumping game.
Oh,
I did
man.
finally get it, but unfortunately, there's not really like a cheat or a way around it. You just gotta learn the pattern and watch it really carefully and everything. But
I know I saw a cheat where you can get like 9,000 or something like that, or 99,000.
999 moons.
No, jumps.
Oh, jumps. Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's like a camera manipulation thing that you gotta do when you're talking to not Birdo, but whatever that.
Yeah, the talk. Okay, yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some glitch you can do, but I'm sure that's gonna be patched out here soon. So
yeah, probably. But either way, anyway, you mentioned the Metro Canyon, man. That place is just pure joy. I love that place. And again, as we mentioned, and I'm sure our listeners have heard many times, the ending of that town. You gotta expedite yourself. Get to the end of that. You can always come back and do more later, but the ending of that world is just phenomenal. So
okay,
totally worth it. Yes, I've been playing a lot of Mario as well. That's basically all I've been playing. As I said last time that I beat the game, I have accumulated. I currently have 750. I think maybe 752 or 3 power moons, which is a
decent
lot.
Amount.
Yeah. As far as I understand, I'm closing in on the total number. I think there's just under 900. And then I guess you can buy even more than that. But regardless, I'm now comes the tough part, because I'm getting to the point where, like, it's not just obvious where to go and what to do. You really, really got to start digging deep and try to just comb through the areas over and over again
Right.
that you've been in. And yet the game still continues to surprise me. Just the fun little things that show up, or the even though I've explored basically every world there is at this point, there's still just little things here and there that are really, really, really cool and very well thought out, and stuff you just don't think about too much. There's still many mysteries. I'm probably going to, we mentioned the Talkatoo earlier, I'm probably going to start getting hints from the Talkatoo, which essentially, I think, because every moon that you get is sort of labeled,
Right.
Planting seeds in the park or something, just something to give you some kind of signifier of what you did to get that moon. And so I think if you talk to the Talkatoo, he gives you what that is for the ones you're missing. And
Right.
so I might, I think that's a relatively fair hint. I think there's other ways you can get much more explicit hints. I know there's the amiibo guy, and there's a toad that'll, if you pay him 50 coins, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm assuming he gives you a much more explicit hint. But other than that, it's I'm still just going through, discovering some. Unfortunately, I'm discovering some, and I won't spoil things, but there's some things that I didn't do earlier in the game because I didn't think they would really be worth it. Like I was like, I don't need this. I'll just do it on my own.
Sure.
And now I'm like, oh crap! I really wish I would have paid attention to that earlier. Now I gotta go back into those worlds and find what I was looking for before, and then be able to go into other. Let's just say the worlds are connected somewhat. There are connections between them. So
I've stumbled across a couple. So.
Yeah. So it's great, man. It's again pure joy. Just really, really, really fun to be in that world and constantly, just finding something new. It's great.
Yeah. It's I think I mean, I gotta say, I really like Mario Odyssey. I don't know because for me, you mentioned 3D World, and 3D World, I thought some people didn't like it as much. I loved 3D World, and I don't know if I love it as much as I loved 3D World, but I don't know if I don't. It's as good, and that's saying a lot because 3D World was fantastic.
I'll say this: 3D World took me a while to warm up to be honest. Okay. I really didn't. I didn't like the sort of 2.5D. Like I didn't like not being able to move my camera around.
Sure.
And it was all kind of just pre-planned out. But once I really let myself get into it, and I realized it was just as deep and just as complex and challenging. Oh my goodness, Champions Road.
Did you beat Champions Road?
I did twice.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
I got about halfway through.
I died probably 500 times at least.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man. I made it probably halfway through it, and at that point I was like, yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough. That was harder than the whole game put together. So.
Oh man, that was so hard.
Yep.
So hard. And yeah, I mean, it felt really good when I finally did it, but man,
yeah,
that was so hard.
Yeah.
But again, that's the awesome thing about Mario games is they start off so friendly, and
they lure you in,
and they're so accessible. Especially if you have younger kids who are playing it or whatever.
Right.
They can help you out, or they can, especially I guess 3D World, especially you could play multiplayer. That was helpful. But also, then they're so deep after that, and if you really want to go for challenge, it's there.
Right.
Once you kind of get past the main game and you start really exploring everything.
And I think that's part of why I hold 3D World so high is because I was able to play it with my wife all the way through the game. Like, super enjoyable. And so I maybe that's more of why I hold it in such high regard. But,
sure.
I mean, if you were to ask me to rank the Mario games, I mean, jeez.
You'd say Super Mario Galaxy, of course. And
yeah, Galaxy's so good, but is it Galaxy or Galaxy 2, which is Galaxy level pack? But it's so great. It's so good. Man,
I gotta go with the original Galaxy. I think is better. But 2 is phenomenal. It's just
it is.
Or maybe the end.
Yoshi.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, you get Yoshi, and the mechanics in 2 are so fantastic. But and again, maybe it's just a nostalgia thing. The Galaxy was so monumental in my brain when I first. So who knows? Mario games are good.
Mario good.
Mario's good. Yes.
Way to go, Shigeru. I know that's not how to pronounce it. Shigeru Miyamoto, you're an amazing person. So, and I mean,
can we just say it doesn't surprise me at this point necessarily, but just the way that Nintendo has both for Mario and for Zelda been able to produce such quality games consistently in their mainline series year after year after year. Like that says, I mean, they're the best. I think they're the best developers in the world. We
should make a podcast devoted to Nintendo games.
Wow, that's a great idea. Let's try it.
Wait,
it would never work.
Never work. Yeah. Well, or 3010 episodes later. So. So yeah, some Mario good and Nintendo fun. So, all right. So I think that's about it for this week. Correct?
Yeah, I think we're basically we don't have a soundtrack review for you this week. More will be coming, but yeah.
And we're gonna discuss something on this podcast right now. I'm looking ahead at the calendar, and our next episode is due to release on December 14th, and then we could fit one more episode in this calendar year on the 28th. So we were talking. Are you good to do an episode that week?
The last week? Or after Christmas is fine.
Okay. So we're looking at doing an end Game of the Year awards show, and I think maybe that's when we should do that.
The Christmas break week?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we could do this. Yeah, in fact, now that I think about it, the 14th is my concert. So that week is going to be a little crazy. We'll do an episode. We'll do an episode.
We'll do one, yeah. And we'll record it that Sunday because I'll have time that Sunday.
Yeah,
but we've got I've got concerts. So many concerts coming up. So.
Yes. I have one less concert this year actually because I'm not doing the thing at Cornerstone. So I can go to my staff Christmas party tomorrow for the first time in ever.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I get invited to being between 3 different buildings. I have the opportunity to go to 3, but I don't feel because I'm only there for such a short time. I don't know anybody at really any of my buildings, so it's like whatever.
Except your coworker,
yeah, right, exactly. My team teacher. So, but yeah, so in 2 weeks we'll have another episode, and then that 28th, and maybe we'll fudge around the date a little bit, and for that one, because I would like to do that one live streamed and do it like on Facebook Live so that people can interact with us too. So we'll look into exploring the options on that. So
logistics and stuff.
Yeah, but that one's gonna be fun. We're gonna do Game of the Year awards and do a couple of other categories, and that'll be fun. So
speaking of awards, this week, let's see, is it Thursday or Friday? I forget. The actual show, the Game Awards, is happening.
Oh, that's right.
And there are obviously nominations for Breath of the Wild and for Mario-Odyssey and several other Nintendo games, but especially those. I'll be very interested to see how that shakes out.
Yeah. Yep. I have an idea of how it will go. I also have an idea of how our awards will go, but
hey, you just never, honestly, the Game Awards, because a lot of that is gaming press that's making those decisions, and you get some people on all sides of the coin, but it'll all just be a warm up for our show, of course. But
right, everybody's been waiting for it, so
all 25 of you that are we love you, listeners. Thank you so much for sticking with us through the whole time. So yeah, just be looking forward. We got two more shows this calendar year, and then onward and forever to 5,010.
Yeah, I know. Jeez, 2018 will be another. That's got to be a leap of a few thousand episodes. If you know how we count episodes, that works with our logic. So
basically,
so anyways, that's the episode. So thanks a bunch for listening. Why don't you want to give them some reminders of where they can find us?
You can find us on the Twitters at N_directors. We occasionally update that, mostly with new episodes and stuff.
I'm always reminded that we have a Twitter at the end of our recaps.
Yes, we do. If you want to be part of the show, and yes, you can. Yes, you can be part of the show. You should be part of the show. We want you to be part of the show. Please be part of the show. You can email us at nintendodirectorspodcast@gmail.com. Please also, if you want to help us gain visibility, we would very much appreciate it if you would go on iTunes and you'd give us a 5-star review. You could even give us a 7-star review. That would be
sweet.
That'd be awesome.
Give us 3,010 stars and 900 power moons for our review. That's how we work. That's how we roll.
Exactly. So yeah, as we said, our next show is going to be posting on the 14th. Barring an alien invasion or puking children or
jeez.
Or the broken tubas or whatever it is. Just you never know what you're gonna get with.
Yeah, true. With band directors and parents, and then I've got shingles right now. So yay for health.
Yes.
Shingles are fun. They're even worse when you have to put them on a roof. I've done that once. Don't ever do that. Hire it out, everyone. That's our pro tip for you for this week.
Pro tip. Very good.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thanks everyone for listening. We will see you next time.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.